Hi, I'm Phileas Steyn and I'm the safari expert, and this week I thought I'd tell you about an amazing sighting that I had a couple of weeks ago in the Kruger National Park. But before I do so, remember to subscribe to the channel and click the little bell so that you're notified whenever I post a new safari related video. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I was in the Kruger National Park with a client that's really become a very good friend of mine, and we spent 3 days in kind of the south central part of the park where we stayed in Satara Rest Camp. So one afternoon we had about 2 hours to kill, and it wasn't really enough time to do one of the big loops like the S100 loop or the Swaney Road loop. So we decided to just drive south of camp out and back. And about 4 kilometers south of camp, there's a little bridge that goes over a drainage line, and we parked there and looked down and saw that there was quite a bit of water. And there was actually a fish eagle sitting there checking the barbels in the mud. And after we took a few photographs, we drove further south, and I think about 100 meters down the road, I saw some buffalo approaching from the other side of the drainage line, which kind of now hugged the main road. And those buffalo actually went to drink at the little puddle that we sat just a few minutes earlier. And that was quite amazing because they walked right underneath the fish eagle, and it was dust and noises and everything. And luckily for us, those buffalo then actually walked around and kind of swallowed the vehicle and walked all around us. So we really thought we were off to a really good start this afternoon. We then left and carried on further south like we had originally planned, and seconds later I noticed something incredible: a wild white lion. That's right, not only was there big male lions, but there were 3 normal colored big male lions and their white brother. And apparently he's called Casper, and they form part of what's known as the Shishangaan pride. They're known as the Shishangaan males. And first we thought, geez, we're going to lose them in this drainage line, but the hope was that they would walk back to where the buffalo drank a second ago. So we went back there, but they never popped out. But luckily, a few minutes later, we saw them in the road ahead of us, and we were able to join up with them. Now, unfortunately, at this stage, I wasn't taking much video because I was focusing on positioning my vehicle so that my client could take the best possible photographs. But once the lion settled down, so luckily for us, they crossed the road and they settled down right next to us, I took out my camera and I was able to take a few amazing photographs as well. And yeah, we were just so fortunate that they decided not to follow the buffalo, which they probably did after the sunset. But they stayed there, and they first of all showed a lot of affection. There was a lot of sort of face rubbing and lying close to each other. And they, for brief moments, just stood there posing beautifully. And it was so incredible to see the normal colored big male lion together with this white male big lion standing right next to each other. And you could clearly then see all the differences in the colors of the mane, the body, and especially the tail tip, which I found so incredible to see this sort of white colored tail tip as opposed to the normal black one. As far as I know, there are only 3 wild white lions at the moment, and they all occur in the Greater Kruger National Park. It's this specific one named Casper that's about sort of between 6 and 7 years old that live in this sort of greater area around Satara, and then 2 other younger ones that live in the Birmingham Pride that uses a part of the Ngala concession, so closer to Open Gate and that sort of Timbavati area. So that's where people see them, and recently they were also seen in the Manileti Game Reserve. And those are the only 3 ones in the wild, so for us to actually come across this one was, well, certainly the first time that I've ever seen it in my life. So definitely rating as one of my best lion sightings ever. Now, a common misconception is that white lions, or at least these white lions, are albino, where in fact they are what we call leucistic, and that's essentially a recessive gene that makes the fur white, but its skin and its eye color is actually stays normal. And I suppose something that you can compare it with is melanism. For instance, the black leopards that you find in places like India. So in this case, it's still Panthera leo, and yeah, it's just extremely rare, and also very rare for this specific male lion, Casper, to have gotten so old, because obviously standing out like that, being white, you might assume that perhaps it's a little bit more vulnerable than its normal colored brothers, sisters and cousins, especially when it's young, and it depends a bit on camouflage whenever there's danger. Anyways, I felt like I had to share it with you. Take a moment to check out my 2 videos, the one on Satara Rest Camp itself and the other one on game viewing in the Satara area, for if you do go to that area in the next few months or over the next few years. Hopefully you'll find some valuable tips there. and I really hope you enjoyed these photographs of Casper, the wild white lion. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet, and please take a moment to check out some of my other videos as well.